Everything you've been told about being rational about money is wrong. Here's what's about to happen. I'm going to give you a coffee mug, a normal one, $5 at any office supply store. You hold it. You look at it. You decide it's yours. Now I ask you to sell it back to me. What's your number? Your number, on average, is about twice what I'd pay for it. This is the endowment effect. It is the reason your closet is full of clothes you never wear and won't donate. It's the reason your parents still have your high school trophies. It's the reason you held that one stock through 3 crashes, hoping it would come back. And it was discovered in its modern form in 1990 by a Nobel Prize-winning economist who was specifically running a coffee mug experiment. Up until the 1980s, the dominant theory in economics had a very clean assumption inside it. The assumption? The value of an object is independent of who owns it. A coffee mug is worth what the market says it's worth. Maybe $5. If you own one, it's worth $5. If I want to buy one, I'll pay $5. We meet in the middle. Trade happens. Everyone goes home rational and well-adjusted. This theory is called the Coase theorem, and it powered most of 20th century economic thought. It is, on close inspection, completely insane. You know it's insane because you've experienced the opposite literally every time you've tried to throw away anything you used to own. There's a particular flavor of pain that hits you when you imagine giving up something you own, even something you don't actually use, like a college sweatshirt from 2003. That does not hit you when you imagine not buying that same thing in a store. That asymmetry is what Kahneman wanted to measure. In 1990, Daniel Kahneman, Jack Knetsch, and Richard Thaler ran a series of experiments with Cornell undergrads. They published the results in the Journal of Political Economy. The setup was, and you have to imagine this in a real classroom, absurdly simple. They had a classroom of 44 students. They randomly gave half of them a coffee mug, just a mug. A normal Cornell-branded mug from the campus bookstore, worth $6. Then they asked the mug owners, "What's the minimum you'd accept to sell your mug?" And they asked the non-owners, "What's the maximum you'd pay to buy one?" If the standard economic theory was correct, both numbers should be roughly the same, maybe close to the actual retail price of $6. The numbers came in. They were not the same. The owners, by median, demanded around $7.12 to sell. The non-owners, by median, were willing to pay about $2.87 to buy. Same mug, same classroom, same demographic, same minute. The only thing that changed was whether the student had been given the mug a few minutes earlier. And that few-minute coincidence of ownership made the same object suddenly worth 2.5 times more. The mechanism behind the endowment effect is something called loss-aversion. Losing $5 hurts about twice as much as gaining $5 feels good. This is not a personality quirk. This is a hardwired, evolutionarily reliable feature of vertebrate brains. When you own something, even something you got 2 minutes ago, your brain has quietly upgraded that object from object in the world to part of my stuff. Selling it triggers the loss-aversion circuitry. Buying the same object doesn't. That's why the gap is so large. The owner is not just thinking about market value. They're thinking about the pain of losing a thing they've already mentally filed under mine. And the non-owner is just thinking about whether it would be cool to have a new mug. This single asymmetry, losses hurt about twice as much as equivalent gains feel good, explains a disturbing percentage of why you do the things you do. Your closet. Statistically, you wear about 20% of the clothes you own. The other 80% sits there. You could donate it. You don't. Because the loss of giving it away hurts more than the gain of empty closet space feels good. Your stock portfolio. The single most studied irrational behavior in personal finance is investors holding losing stocks too long. The textbook reason? You don't want to lock in the loss. So you hold, and the stock falls further. And you hold, and you hold. Your relationship with your parents' house. The boxes of your old elementary school art in their basement. Your trophies. your bronzed baby shoe. None of it has practical value. They cannot let go of it. Endowment. Your subscriptions. You signed up for the free trial of something. You forgot. They charged you. Now you have a thing you don't use. And to cancel feels like losing a thing, even though you weren't using it. The phone in your pocket. You will upgrade it next year. You will pay $1,000. You will be unable to give the old phone to your sister, even though she explicitly asked, because selling it back to the carrier feels more correct, even if the carrier offers less money. The endowment effect is, in every meaningful sense, why your house is the way it is. Two practical things, both well supported by follow-up research. 1. For stuff you own, pretend you're seeing it for the first time at a yard sale. Would you pay full price for it, right now? If the answer is no, get rid of it. The endowment effect is the only reason it still feels valuable to you. It's a brain trick. The thing itself has not changed. This is the trick Marie Kondo basically built a global empire on. She didn't invent loss aversion. She just helped people see around it. 2. For stocks and decisions. Treat sunk costs as sunk. Ask, would I buy this stock today at this price, fresh? If no, sell. If yes, hold. The how much did I pay for it question is the endowment effect dressed up in a tie. The would I buy it fresh question rebuilds the entire decision from the non-owner side, which, conveniently, is the side that's actually rational about value. You will fail at this, repeatedly, forever. The endowment effect doesn't go away because you understand it. Loss aversion is hardwired. Richard Thaler, the third author on the 1990 mug paper, tells this story in his book Misbehaving about his old economics professor, Richard Rosette, a serious wine collector. Rosette kept bottles in his cellar he had bought decades earlier for $5 and that were now worth $100. He wouldn't sell those bottles. He also wouldn't go out and buy a new bottle for more than $30. Same wine, same connoisseur. Two completely different prices, depending on whether he already owned it. But knowing the mechanism gives you a counter move. It lets you pause. It lets you ask, is this loss aversion or is this real value? That tiny pause is the only thing standing between you and a storage unit you've been paying for since 2014. Your stuff isn't worth what your brain says it's worth. It's worth what someone else would pay for it. Cold strangers are, on this one specific question, more honest than you are. So go look at your closet. Pick the shirt you haven't worn in 2 years. Ask the question. Then put it in the donation bin without checking back in with yourself. It was never worth what you thought. Curious which other irrational money brain glitch is running you right now? Subscribe. Monday's question is about something you bought yesterday.